the biggest battle in Survivor history. Survivor, winners at war.
Hello everyone, I am Lazy Dude. Welcome to another Lazy Dude Survivor video. Today we are talking about the season that we never thought would happen, but it's real, it's happening. It's Survivor All Winners. In fact, it's not just all winners, it is winners at war. I was actually just thinking the other day, it shouldn't just be Survivor's All Winners, it should be like something cooler, like Winners at War. I literally thought that would be a great title. I'm so glad they went with it. I gotta say, everyone has wanted this season for a long time, and Jeff Probst has always been kind of hee-hawing about it, like, I don't know, some of our winners aren't even that great characters, I don't know, I'm not even sure if it'd be a great season, I don't know, maybe it's unfair to Sandra, I don't know, but now it is finally happening, and some of the names they got coming back are super huge names. Like people I didn't think were ever going to play again. And so when it comes to another returning player season, you know I got to say my piece about it, but this time I'm going to do it a little bit differently. I'm going to give my impressions on how I feel these players will stack up against all the other players. I'm going to say how good I think they are strategically, socially, and physically, how many challenges they've won, how many immunity or advantages they've ever found, and then I'm going to tell you what their threat level is and whether I think they have a chance to win. So let's get to it. First, I want to start with Ethan Zahn. Ethan is the player that I think out of everyone, and with the exception, I guess, a little bit of Amber, Ethan has had the longest break between Survivor. To put this in perspective, the last time Ethan played, immunity idols were not a thing yet. Hidden immunity idols. So, yeah, it's been a while for Ethan. First time he played was in Survivor Africa, Season 3. Second time was in All-Stars. And he was actually the winner that got the farthest in All-Stars. So, what do I think about Ethan? Well, I think he credits his win most to his social play. That's where I think you got to give him the most credit, because Ethan actually didn't win that many immunity challenges. I mean, when you look at it, he only won one. Not to say he was a slouch in any of the challenges, but he wasn't a challenge beast by any means. The reason that he won is because he was more likable. And the reason he kept going and going along the way is because people trusted him and he was very likable. I think that's why he wasn't booted off early in All-Stars. I mean, they did need him for challenges because that tribe was losing fast. But also, I think the fact that when you looked at him, you could trust Ethan. And I think that's going to help him in the long run. Ethan is a player that we haven't seen him play for a long time. And so our mindset, whenever you think about him, you're only going to think of him, he was loyal to his alliance, he wasn't a backstabber, he's someone I can trust. And that's going to help him immensely in the long run. I see whatever alliance Ethan gets in, I guarantee he's making the merge. Unless he's pegged as someone who's like too likable, but I think that's the type of person you get rid of after the merge, you know? That's the type of person that, you can trust. And then when it's getting closer to the end, then you clip him. Especially since he hasn't had that many immunity wins. And he's a little older. Honestly, I could see Ethan winning this thing. I could see him squeezing under the radar, getting to the end, and him being likable again. And everyone liking him so much that he takes the win. He has a very low target rating. He is not going to be sought after. I don't think anyone is going to be gunning for him out of the gate. I think Ethan has a very decent chance to win. I'm not going to put how much I think, but I think he could win. Next on the list is the queen herself, Sandra Diaz-Twine. Now, Sandra, this isn't the first time I actually did a cast assessment, or whatever you want to call this, of Sandra. I actually talked about her when she was playing for her third time with, Game Changers. And I remember in that video saying, well, Sandra is the type of player. She's so not physical that I think that even though she's, a good player, I think the moment they start to lose challenges, people think, maybe we should clip Sandra. I mean, she did win twice. She is a threat. But that didn't happen. Sandra played completely differently than she did the other time, and she took control of her tribe. She was basically screwed by the swap, which is the only reason why she got voted out. Now, do I think she could have won that season? I still think that she's probably going out in the jury just because people know that you don't have Sandra that long. But I think the reason you keep Sandra for the most part is the same reason that she's gotten to the end twice, is because Sandra is not a player who is scheming. Sandra tells you right to your face what she's going to do. And I think she's immensely good. She's a pro at this by now, at corralling alliances and getting people to her side. That's why I have her social rating as a 10 out of 10. She is so good and can talk you into going over to her side. I remember Troyzan in Game Changers being so surprised. Like, within 5 minutes, Sandra has a new alliance and we're all on board. And I'm like, how did that happen? I think Sandra could definitely make it far, make it close to the end, but I wouldn't be surprised if this season she gets clipped before the merge. Again, I guess. But I don't know. I don't think anyone's going to be coming for Sandra out of the gate. Especially since she's not even all that, devious. I mean, she's only found one idol/advantage her entire time where she's played the game. And that was, back when Russell and everyone was doing a mad scramble for it. So she's not like she's going out in the middle of the night to find it. It was a mad scramble and she happened to find it. But I don't think you're going to forget about Sandra. I don't think that's possible anymore. So I put her target rating as medium. She's definitely going to be looked at. She's definitely going to be considered. And I think someone might want to get rid of her to boost their resume. Like, hey, let's make sure that somebody else is the only 2-time winner with her, and let's not make her the only 3-time winner of Survivor, shall we? I think the only real thing is that I think Sandra is probably the weakest out of all these players on this island. There's not that many weak links on this island, and I think Sandra is it. And so if they need to cut somebody for immunity, it might be Sandra. Next up is Amber Burkich Mariano. Yeah. Amber is coming back. That is someone I did not ever think had any interest or would ever come back to Survivor. Mostly because she was basically just like a non-threater player in Australian Survivor, and then she went to the end with Boston Rob in All Stars, and people were very upset with him, and so they gave her the win. Not to say that she didn't earn the win. I mean, if Boston Rob pisses everybody off so much that they don't want to vote for him, that's on him, and good for her to not piss everyone off that much. I put her social as pretty good, but because she was able to convince Lex and Kathy to vote with her to vote off Jerry, and I think Boston Rob's play before did a big impact on that, but I think they felt I think Amber's the one that sent it home. I think they felt that they could trust Amber. Like, oh, here's Amber pleading for her life. She thinks that she knows that we'll go with them. I think that's good. I think we'll go with her. So I think she's a good social player. I don't think she had. I put her low as strategic. I didn't bomb her for her strategic rating because there was a moment in one of the Amazing Race that she and Boston Rob went on where they were going the wrong way and then they realized it and then they were coming back and they saw another team and Amber pulled out her clue, her old clue, and says, "Oh boy, we got it!" as they walked past, and then that team thought that, oh, the clue box is this way. They already got it. And then they got lost, So Amber is pretty good. She can think on her feet, and I wouldn't count her out. But the thing is, even though she should be able to fly under the radar, even though all things would normally point to her being able to hide and be underestimated because she was on so long ago, just like Ethan, she's married to Boston Rob. Okay, and that puts her target rating super high because it's the only couple on this season. This ain't a blood versus water, people. So that puts it super high. If she is on a team or not on a team with Boston Rob, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to let them Amber Rob it to the end again because they are the original Amber and Rob. So I think if Amber's not on Rob's team, that tribe, first vote, Amber's gone. If she is on Rob's team, I think the other tribe might consider getting out Rob and then she stays. But somebody is going to go of that pair. They're not going to go that far. I guarantee you this. Amber and Rob will not both make it to the merge. That is my bet. Does Amber have a chance to win? I honestly don't see it. The only way that happens is if Boston Rob goes early. Okay, next up we have Danny Boatwright. Danny Boatwright is, if you don't count Stephanie, the first person from Survivor Guatemala to ever make a return trip. How crazy is that? Especially since there are some people in Survivor Guatemala that are actually pretty good. Why isn't Judd back? You know, give Judd a chance, you dang scumbags. Figured out a bunch of crocodiles, man. What, do you think I have ADD? Anyway, but Danny is one that has said from the very beginning, I will not go back on Survivor unless it is an all-winner season. Honestly, I think that might be the only reason that she's here, is we all been like, hey, come on back, Danny. No, not unless it's all winners. Look, come on. No. But now everyone's like, man, if we have all winners, we can get Danny. It's like, but nobody even remembers anymore. It doesn't matter. She's picked her spot. She called dibs. That's basically it. She called dibs. Now, Danny, I've also rated her social play really high, which is really interesting. Like, looking back, all the people I've talked about so far have been higher socially than anything else. Danny is also a really old school player because this time she played was the first time a hidden immunity idol entered the game, and it wasn't even the regular one. It was basically like, and you can't vote for me tonight. It was basically like a regular immunity win. But she never found one, so she doesn't have any advantages or anything that she win. She has won a couple of immunities, and she's the only one that so far on this thing that has won 2. So I think Danny might probably... Here's the thing. Danny, I think, has the potential to go a long way. I don't know how good she is strategically. Because here's the thing. She's good socially, I know that. I don't know how good she is strategically because the way she had to play last time was from the bottom. She played from the bottom. She was always on the outs. She was able to work her way up a few people. Honestly, I don't know how I don't remember Guatemala that much, but I'm like, how did they vote out Lydia and not Danny? Did she win immunity? Was that one of her immunity wins? Because I just don't get that. But Danny is definitely going to be a player that I think a lot of people have forgot about. And I think because of that, nobody exactly knows how she's going to play, how she's going to come at this, how she's going to attack the season. Is she going to be under the radar again? Has she been keeping up with Survivor? These are questions that I don't know. I haven't seen her part of the Survivor community. She hasn't been going up to the Rob Know-It-Alls and stuff like that and visiting everything. So she's been away from this game for a long time. But there's a lot of other old school players here, and so maybe she's able to wean her way into that. Honestly, I don't necessarily... The only thing that I think might work against her is I don't know how many relationships she has with a lot of these people. You know, a lot of these people, they've not only played together, they've visited with each other, they've hung out together. I don't know where Danny is in all of that. But that might mean she relates more to the new school players who haven't had those old school connections. Maybe she'll find a place. I don't see her going that early. Unless she really messes up, causes a tribal council kerfuffle, I don't see Danny going that early. I think she makes the merge. And yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see. Her target rating is definitely a low one. She is not going to be one that players are going to be coming for, at least not right away, unless she gets on somebody's nerves. You know, it's possible, but I don't see that. I think that Danny is probably going to make it to the merge, and I think she has a high chance of winning, honestly. Because the way she played last time, if she does that again, if she just lays low and then comes out blazing at the end, that could work. Word for Chris Underwood. So glad he's not on here. Anyways, Yul Kwon. Yul is the one that I'm probably most excited to see back. Because like some of these other players, I thought maybe their time had passed. Nobody's going to remember Yul. But I remember Yul, and I remember Yul being very smart, very strategic, and I wanted to see what he'd be like on a modern season. Yul is the first person on my list that I put a 10 out of 10 in strategicness. Yul knows the game, and he knows how to use it to his advantage. His move with Penner to get him to flip back to their alliance and then basically run the table from then on and then use him voting out Penner to get the win. He knows how to play this game strategically and with people. So that's why his social rating isn't low either, because he's no slouch in that regard either. I don't think he had to necessarily convince anyone to do anything that wasn't already in their best interest besides Penner. You know, it's not like Sandra and Becky should have flipped over and got Yul out sooner because he already had the idol. That's the thing. I want to see how Yule plays without that now. Now, not to say that he played lazy or inconsistent or that he didn't deserve the win, because he did. I want to see how Yule plays. Now, Yule, in some ways, maybe he's able to come in and not have a big target on his back. He did, however, play with a certain Parvati Shallow, who is also going to be on this season, and that might make something interesting because they weren't on the same side, but it's been a few years. I wonder if him and Parvati could work together. I think Yule might need someone like Parvati who's a bigger target, but Parvati is also used to working with more women characters, and so I'm not sure if Yule and her can work together, and I'm not sure if he would trust her all that much. I mean, when he voted her out, he's like, I am genuinely surprised how well you are playing right now. So it all depends. It all depends on whether that is mended, whether they're friends. I don't know. Lots of stuff could happen with Yule, but I honestly think he has a chance to win this. Because it's all about reputation going into this. What's Yule's reputation? He made an alliance. He stuck with that alliance all the way until the end. He didn't even deviate when sometimes it might have made sense to vote out Ozzy. Although, to be fair, I don't think Ozzy really gave him the chance. So I think some of these players that are more loyal might look at Yule and say, okay, I can work with that. Maybe I'll have to cut him down the line, but I can work with him. Let's take him on. And I think that's going to be in his favor. So I think he is a medium target. I think some people might want to target him because they're too intimidated by his intelligence. But I think overall, Yule has a good shot to make it far and maybe make it to the end. Speaking of Parvati Shallow, she is next on this list. Parvati is a triple threat. I have her ratings all very high. She is probably one of the most social players ever. When she went on to Heroes vs. Villains, she was target number 1. Everyone wanted Parvati out, and she finagled her way with some help from Russell, but she did a lot of the work to get Russell to want to keep her. She finagled her way all the way until the final 3 and lost by 1 vote. I think Parvati is the second, with Boston Rob, has that argument that they maybe could have, should have won their season. You know? A little bit of difference, maybe one move different, and they won the game. And they're the 2-time player winner. I think that Parvati, I don't think anybody's going to let that happen again. Let's just say there are some players here that are the big players, the biggest players in all of Survivor history. And are you going to let that come close to being even bigger legends? I think let's say if Parvati goes out first, her legend doesn't die. Nobody's going to be like, well, we overestimated her. No, it's going to be because she is somebody that everyone can see as one of the biggest threats in all of Survivor. I think Parvati's only chance to make it far is to be on a tribe that wins a couple of immunities. Then, by that point, maybe she's worked her way into the relationships. Maybe some people are viewing her as a target shield. Honestly, I think some of these big players all are going to have to be like, okay, we need to stick together or else we're toast. She has 2 hidden immunity idols, finds. One, you know, is the one in Heroes vs. Villains. I'm counting finds, she was given an idol twice. But when it comes to Survivor immunity idol finds, she found the immunity idol on Exile Island, but didn't take it because for a bunch of smart strategic reasons I don't want to get into. But then she also found the one in Heroes vs. Villains and used that with the idol that JT gave Russell to do her brilliant double idol play. So, yeah, so she could find something. She's very capable of doing it. I don't think, however, she has ever found anything without a clue. That's something that maybe she might have to take a book out of her old buddy Russell's handbook and go searching before you need it. Because a lot of these old school players, they might have the feeling that the game has to come to them, where I think some of these new school players are all like, let's go out and get the game. However, there's no doubt about it. Her target rating is high. I'd say she would have the second highest target out of any player in this whole season. Not to mention that she is tied for the most immunity wins out of all the women. So, yeah, she is someone to be weary of. Speaking of players who I think have a humongous target on their back, Rob Mariano. He's the player who I think has the biggest target on his back, and that's because, well, you know how people who don't like Rob say that Probst fixed Redemption Island so that Rob would win? I don't agree with that. However, I would be understandable if people accuse Probst of trying to fix this season that he can win. Because almost a lot of these players he has connections with. Let's see, you got Boston Rob and his wife Amber, one of his best friends Tyson, an old friend that he used to hang out with all the time in Ethan, Parvati, who he's played before, Sandra, who he's done this whole Island of the Idols thing together. They've had 39 days to build their own alliance together. You know, it all depends on how the alliances are made, because if you put all those people on a tribe together, then I could be like, okay, somebody's trying to fix this for Rob. But here's the thing, I don't know if... Okay, Rob, as I said, he is the biggest target on his back. If Amber goes out first, I think Rob might make it to the merge. And you might be like, dude, why would Rob make it to the merge? It's because he's a great leader, okay? He's a guy that can get his tribe in line and to do all the stuff he wants them to, and they could go on an immunity run all the way towards the merge. And I don't think Rob is winning this season. Honestly, though, I think he has a better chance than most of us want to give him credit for. He's great. I think people will want to keep him around for a meat shield, but I don't know if he'll play that game. He'll probably switch it to his bench. This thing is, Rob has never really had to play. When he's in power, he is in power. He's never even had to worry about other people coming after him. But even some of his best allies, we know, have talked about that they would have if in Heroes vs. Villains. Sandra's like, yeah, it'd be great to work with Boston and Rob, and then, you know, when we come to the end, I'll vote him out. You know, Tyson, no way was Tyson going to the end with Rob. He's not an idiot. I think that some of these relationships, Amber will go to the end with him, because if either one of them wins, you know, that's another $1 million for them. You know, I don't think there's a single person on this cast, or at least not enough people, that he can use as pawns. These are all winners. These are all people that, a lot of them have been leaders. A lot of them have been backstabbers. A lot of them have been... Like, the thing is, I think the only way Rob makes it very, very, very far into the game is if he does a Wendell and Dominic. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think maybe a Rob-Tony alliance could save both of their butts. I don't think it's going to happen. Not a chance. But I think they might need it. You know, it's the reason I don't think it will happen because Sandra has played with Tony, and she never wants to do that again. But yeah, I think the biggest bullseye is on Rob, but I still think he might make the merge. I know it's crazy, but there's no way he's winning. He's too big. Not to mention, since this is an all-winner season, there is not a lot of challenge beasts. Rob has the most immunity wins out of everyone by a lot with 9. 9! We don't have an Ozzy this season. We don't have a Joe. Rob is technically the biggest immunity threat out of anyone. So, yeah. It would have helped him if Mike Holloway was on this season, but he's not. At the very least, you could say from Mike Holloway that he has tied for the record of most immunity wins on a single season, but yeah, it's... So, you have, on the one hand, him being one of the biggest masterminds of all time in Survivor, one of the biggest social threats of all time on Survivor, and the biggest immunity beast of the season. No way is anyone going to let him get too close to that $1 million. Not a chance. His target is, in my mind, the highest out of anybody. Next, we come back to a player who has a lower radar presence, Sophie Clark. I think Sophie is one of those characters that might get clipped before the merge, and not for any reason or any fault of her own. Sophie's strategy, from what we saw, was very basic: get into an alliance, get to the end. And that should work, especially with some of these old school players. They should be like, yeah, I'm on board, let's do that, let's just ride it out. I think Sophie is too much I think some of these players will want to play, you know? They'll want to be like, all right, let's do this big move. And so be like, no, we're not doing that. It's crazy. No. That's the only thing that I have as a thing for Sophie. I don't think her target is all that high, honestly. I think she has a very low target rating. But I think that Sophie is a little bit of a stay to the past, stay the course type of player. And unless she's able to change that up a little bit, be a little bit more flexible, I think she might find herself as the target of some of these people. I don't think that she's a humongous target, but I think I could see the vote falling on her kind of pre-merge. But as long as she's able to cool it, I think she'll be fine, because she's no slouch in the immunity challenges. She's won 3. She's not really someone that anyone's going to be worried about in terms of finding an idol. She's never found. I mean, she found one with Coach, but Coach found it. So she's not someone that anyone's worried about doing that stuff. So I think that her target is very low, and if it rises and people vote her out, I think it's only because of her personality that people might do that. Like, Sophie was not really much of a social player. There was a lot of players at the end of South Pacific who were like, I don't even really know you. So I think that if Sophie makes it far, it'll be because she makes the connection with the right people. And that's what she did good last time. She made the alliance with the right people and won the right challenges and didn't piss anybody off to a humongous extent. So maybe she'll make it to, like, honestly, right now I'm feeling it. She's either making it to just before the merge, or she might be someone that could go all the way to the end. But I'm not sure if she'll really have to work on that resume. And I know people don't like to talk about their resume, but in this game, you're going to have the moves. There's no coach that you can just go to the end with and beat. This time, you're going to have to earn it. And next, we have another player who's playing for her second time, but someone who I think probably has a chance to win this game, and that's Kim Spradlin. The reason I think Kim, even though Kim is a mastermind like Parvati, like Boston Rob, as I said, she's tied with Parvati for the most wins in a single from a female. I think Parvati, though, has had multiple seasons. Kim did it all in one. But the thing is, I don't think Kim is going to be as big of a target. Even though everyone knows how good a player she is. Everyone knows that she's a great mastermind. I think people might look and say, yeah, but it was on One World. Probably one of the worst seasons ever with some of the worst cast ever. She was the only bright light. She was the only one that was playing smart. Of course she was outplaying everyone. Everybody else was dumb. But I think that's underestimating Kim. Kim was very good in the way that she built her relationships and the way that she had every option available to her. And I think that she is not going to be dumber now. But I don't think, since it's One World and there's a season that was a long time ago, she hasn't made a big splash, but I know she keeps in touch with Survivor. I know that she keeps on watching. I know she knows how to play the game. Kim could really do, I think that if Kim brought like a big mastermind alliance together, she could lead it. And honestly, but here's the thing, I think there might be a power struggle. Like, let's say if Kim is on a tribe with Rob, no way are either one of them trusting each other and letting the other one take the lead. That's my theory, at least. You know, they're the type of, there's some of these players that are this island ain't big enough for the both of us sort of situation. And I think that if they don't have that mind, they're able to say, hey, we're the biggest threats, let's all come together, then maybe they have a chance to go far. I think Kim's smart enough, but I don't know if the other players are that smart. But here's the thing, I think Kim could ride with the smaller groups of players too. You know, she was able to get along with everyone. However, I think everyone does know that, so I don't think Kim's falling off of anybody's radar, so I have her as a medium target. I think that she's one of the smartest players going back on the season, but I don't think she's as, I don't think anyone's coming after her right out the gate. I think it's something where people are more looking at her as like, okay, I got my eye on her. I might have to vote her out, but for now we'll work together. I don't know. I don't know if anyone's going to be coming after Kim too early. If it is, I hope not, but I think that she might have a chance to win this. Next one I'm going to be talking about is Denise Stapley. Denise, I am happy to see that Denise is coming back because I really liked her dynamic with her and Malcolm. I think that she's a good winner. I was rooting for Malcolm, but when she won, I was like, okay, one of these two are going to win. I'm okay with that. Denise is another player that I think might be able to go very far, all the way to the end at least. Because, like, she was willing to ride or die with Malcolm to the end and maybe even lose to him. But he tried to vote her out, and so she flipped it and got it onto him and got him voted out. Yeah, that's... I think that her willingness to play with the bigger players, I think a lot of people will be begging for her to be an alliance mate. I don't think she's going to be a target from anybody out of the gate. I think she is going to be looked at as someone like, I need you on my team. And I think she's going to have her pick of the litter. Whoever she trusts the most, they're going to be the dominant alliance. She's also not that threatening. She only has one immunity win. She hasn't found any idols, although she was with Malcolm when he found his. So she's not someone that you're going to be that worried about. I think her target is very low, but I think if people underestimate her, they're going to be in trouble. Next on our list, we have another big threat in my mind, Tyson Apostle. Tyson, I think, is probably one of these other big threats like Kim that I think has a chance to win. Yeah, I know it's crazy, but Tyson always acts like such a goofball all the time whenever he's on the island that people forget about how threatening he is. And then he just... And he's definitely playing smarter than he did the last... He's playing smarter than the first two times he played, when he played the third time. So he's definitely smarter. He's won a few immunities. He's won 3, and he's found 2 different immunity idols at 2 different times. And so, but 2 is, a decent amount, but it's not a huge amount, Tyson's not a day one looking for the immunity idol type of player, so he's not going to be someone that people are that worried about. I think Tyson has a good chance to win because I think while he's a big threat, I think he'll stick behind other bigger threats. I think he'll team up with Rob and he'll go far with him and everyone will be like, oh, Rob's going to win. And then at the last minute, he'll cut his head off and take the win. It's like when you have the choice of Rob or Tyson, who am I going to go to the end with? You go with Tyson. I think that's the type of player he's going to play. And I don't know, I don't see, unless it's a target thing, I don't see the reason why anybody's coming after Tyson right away. Because he's so likable, and he's so funny, which is probably why I think he probably won't make it to the end, but I think he has a chance. I think if he can at least get within 3 immunity wins, he could win the final 3. That's as far as he needs to get, and especially now with the whole stupid fire-making challenge thing, if he can get as far as 7th place, he might have a chance to go all the way with it. Will he? I don't know. I think that he could get targeted, and that is a big thing to consider. But as far as I'm concerned, I think Tyson has a good chance to win. However, I do think he does have a high target rating because you're not going to forget about Tyson. He played a dominant game his last time. There's these players that played the dominant games that people are at the very least going to keep their eyes on and aren't going to lose track of. And that brings me to probably another one of the players who has the big target on his back, Tony Vlachos. He's not a cop. He's a construction worker. No way, he's a cop. Tony. I love Tony. I love Tony so much. I love you so much. He's such a great, fun player. Probably the funnest winner we've ever had. I don't think... Here's the thing. When he was voted out... When he wasn't voted out first last time, I'm like, yes! He's found a place! He can make it! Then he was voted out second, and I'm like, dang it! And I don't know. Tony is... I think he'll learn from his lesson last time. That's not how had him go on the searching for idol seconds into the game. Like everyone's like, "Hey, how are you?" He's like, "I'm gonna go find an idol," and run off. I think he was trying to play into the manicness, but I think it made people more paranoid. He's gonna have to lower the paranoia down. Like when he first played the first time, he didn't start out super paranoid. It ramped up as the game went on, and that's fine. When it comes to the end, ramp it up. But I don't think Tony... I think he needs to make sure that he remains calm in the beginning. Be a calming force. He was... The thing is, though, Tony is a backstabber. We know this. Everyone knows this. I don't know how much people are going to trust Tony as far as they can throw him. Like, I have a dream scenario in my mind where Tony goes up to Boston Rob and says, hello, a lot of people compare me to Russell. I ain't like Russell. We need each other. We need to go fight together because otherwise we're going to get clipped. And Rob be like, hey, man, Tony, that sounds great. Let's go together. Be partners. And then, eventually they backstab each other down the line. But I don't think... when you get big personalities like this on the island, and these are all winners, I don't know. I don't think Tony's going to make it past the merge. I pray, I beg you other Survivors players to let him get past the merge. Please. I don't think he is. Realistically, I don't think he has a shot. I hope he does, but I don't think he will. I think this is the thing. Now that we're in a thing of all winners, there aren't that many pawns for people to take. It's like before it was easy. You just had to take the people who was the least likable in order to win. But now we're in an area where every one of these players have won. Every single one. So who are you going to take? Maybe Tony can move into that spot. It's like, hey, people are pissed off at Tony. Let's take him to the end. Maybe that will be a thing. But I don't know if, I don't think Tony's going to let that slide. I don't think Tony's not Philip. He's not going to slide to the end. Tony's targeted rating is high, and I don't see how it goes low. I pray, but I don't see how it goes. On top of that, he has tied in this group here, he is tied for the most amount of immunities / advantages found. Because he found 3 idols. 3. In one season. That's the record. Finding 3 idols in a single season is the record, and he's tied for it. There's only a couple other players that has the same amount on this season. And we'll get into that later. But yeah, Tony, I just think idol paranoia might get to them. Maybe if he finds it first, maybe he can wiggle that way into an alliance. But I don't know. I think let's put it this way though. Tony hasn't technically played an idol correctly. I mean, the way he used the Tyler Perry idol to his advantage was brilliant. Not that it really mattered because they wanted to Spencer out anyway. But Tony technically, he's great at finding them. He's not necessarily the best at playing them. So we're going to have to wait and see how that turns out. Maybe we'll actually see the spy bunker this time. Who knows? Next up, we got Natalie Anderson. I love Natalie. And the funny thing is, when I was watching San Juan del Sur, I didn't think I was going to. Because I saw the 20s, and they were like, oh, 20, hashtag 20, or whatever, and I was like, oh, get those off the island, get those twins off the island as quick as possible, I don't care, I don't like them. And then she played. She lost her sister early on, and she played her butt off. And I think that Natalie might be another one that people might sleep on, they might forget about. I think some people might even view as like, this is the goat that I can take to the end. I don't think that's going to be a thing, though. I think Natalie is smart enough to know that she needs to play moves and she can't get taken to the end. I don't know. This whole season is going to be crazy. Every single vote will be somebody who could technically win because they have won. Oh, man, it's going to be crazy. And Natalie, though, I think her target rating is going to be fairly low. I mean, she has found an idol before. She has won immunity before. But I don't think she is going to be the biggest problem. I mean, she's a strong woman. She's a strong player. She's social. And she's also very strategic. I think that she knows how to play the game. She's not a dummy. I don't think she can get into advanced numbers. Like, well, if we put 2 votes here, that might be a little bit over her head. But she knows the basics and she knows how to work it. I think some of her moves that she might do wouldn't work with this crew. Like the thing with she's like, oh, I thought I was supposed to vote Alec. You guys told me Alec. Oh, I was supposed to vote Keith. Oh, I'm so sorry. That wouldn't fly with any of these people. You don't think I don't see about them. Oh, she made a mistake. It'd be like, no, she did that on purpose. She has to go. But it all depends on who gets the alliances first and how they get formed and who goes when. Yikes. Yeah, but I think Natalie, I'm going to say she makes it to the merge. I think she has a chance to win. Which is crazy, but I think Natalie does. And I would love to see her go far. Honestly, I would just love to see her get in a screaming match with Tony. It'd be perfect. Next up, Jeremy Collins. He was one of my winner picks when I saw him in Samuel Del Sur. I think I did also have a winner pick in Cambodia. I can't remember exactly. But Jeremy Collins, I think, might have one of the best chances to win a second time. Yeah. I know that's a little crazy, but Jeremy played such a loyal game. You know, there was barely anyone that he had to backstab. Thanks to Kelly Wentworth's idol, he didn't have to backstab Andrew Savage. He was a very loyal guy, and I think that's going to play real well for the new school survivors and the old school survivors, you know? The new school survivors, like, here's someone of my era that I can trust. And the old school survivors, like, hey, I know I can trust this guy. I can go close to the end. I'm not sure if people will let him get as close to the end as last time, but I think it all depends on how you play. I think if he brings along some meat shields that are more threatening than he is and takes him along to the end, I think Jeremy has a real chance of winning this thing. I don't think he has a big target on his back, but I think that some people might think he's too likable. Yeah, that's why I put a medium target rating on him. Jeremy has something that I think a lot of these big-time players are going to respect, and that is that he's up front with you. You kind of know where he's coming from, and you know where he's going. I think that might make some of these bigger players be able to predict him a little bit better. But I don't know. I think Jeremy is a straightforward, has a good shot at winning this thing as long as he plays the game in a way that allows him to have room to get to the end. I think he could make it. Michele Fitzgerald. You know, Michele is the only time somebody has won that I angry tweeted at someone because of it. Yeah, I angry tweeted at, I think it was Kyle Jason. I angry tweeted at him like, you just said your manhood. You couldn't let her Aubrey win. I was just so mad. I really wanted Aubrey to win, and I was so mad that she didn't. I felt that she earned it. But Michele Fitzgerald, this might feel weird to say, and it might be a little bitter, but I think she's the only one here that has GOAT potential. You know, I think everyone else, even Amber, well, maybe not Amber, I don't know. Everyone else, I don't know if they're getting dragged to the end and as a GOAT. But I think Michele could. And honestly, I don't think Michele would care. I mean, she gets the $100,000? Yeah, I think she'd be okay with that. I don't see how much, if there's any person who I pegged at the very beginning of this season that has a 0% chance of winning, I'd say Michele. And if she wins this season, and that comment's going to kick me in the butt, but I don't think so, because Michele, I don't think, has the desire for the bigger moves. She moves with the game. That's her. She's kind of like Sandra in that way, where she moves where the game's going. She's not someone that puts a wall up and forces the game to go her way. She just goes with the flow and lets her flow with it. And I think that can make you win a first-time season if you're likable enough. But I think for an all-star season, you need to bring your game. You need to make the game go the way you want it to do it. Just like the Survivor All-Stars trailer for Australia, you have to do things my way. You know, that's just my way, the highway. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think Michele has a chance to win. I think she has a chance to be in the final three 100%. So even though her target rating is low, yeah, I just don't see how she has any chance to win. Next up, Adam Klein. Now, I think Adam won that game basically on his social game, because he played in the background of other people's games, you know? He didn't really have any necessarily big moves. Specifically, he made himself likable. He found two idols and another advantage, the steal someone's reward advantage, which, I don't know, as Devin said, that is not an advantage. Yeah, anyways, but so he found that, and he used those well, and he made people like him, and then he got to the end and had a little bit more strategy than the others, and that's all he needed. I think that Adam might have more strategy that he's willing to bring. I think last time he was able to stay hidden And I think he might be able to do that again. That strategy might work really well to be able to stay hidden behind some of the bigger characters, move them out, then strike at the right moment. I don't know how much he has like a will to dictate the vote, but I think other people are going to be willing to work with him. Adam is not somebody that you necessarily want to take to the end with you, but he's somebody that you want to work with early on. And honestly, in this game, besides Michele and maybe Amber, who do you want to take to the end with you? Who do you gotta pick somebody, and maybe someone like Adam can be seen as very open to to working with Adam. I think that he has someone. I don't think his target is all that high. I think it's very low, actually. I don't think anyone's saying, okay, gotta get Adam from the start. No, I think Adam has a really good chance to go far. The only thing that might get him in trouble is that we know he's an idol hunter, and that can make people paranoid and scared and not want to work with you. So if we get an idol hunting Adam, that could put a target on his back and send him home early. But I think Adam has the ability to chill. He wasn't like idol hunting first day. He was waiting. He waited his moment and then found his moments. And I think that it all depends on who he's with. You know, if he's with a bunch of old school people, it just might be that he doesn't have the right connections. But if he's with some of the newer people, I think everyone who's watched him play will be open to see him go. I think that, I don't know, he might be too likable for someone like Rob, or someone might be threatened by how likable he is. But I think that Adam is probably making the merge and could definitely make a decent run to the end. Sarah Lucina, I don't know about Sarah. Here's the thing. Sarah has Sarah was my winner pick when it came to Cagayan. And then her final episode wasn't that great, but then I thought that she had a chance to be a player when she returned. And I said it all depended on whether Tony was out early. I don't know if that's the same for this. I think her and Tony have patched things up over the years. Maybe she might be his only ally that he can work with or rely on. They might need each other, but I don't know about Sarah, because she was a little bit of a flip-flopper, and I think that might put a target on her. It was like, can we really trust that she's going to be with us for the long run? She might just turn on us. So, but I don't know if anyone has that much of a target for her from the get-go. Even Tony, as I said, I don't think he's going to be like, gotta get off Sarah, gotta get her out, she's too dangerous. No, I don't think so. I really don't. So, but honestly, if it comes to, like, if it's going to the vote and it's like, is Sarah or someone like Jeremy that they're trying to go off, I don't see how they don't go for Sarah. Like, Sarah, you can make a good excuse to go for her at any time. That's my thing. Because she's not necessarily the most trustworthy. She's not necessarily the most backstabby either, though. She did stick with a group of people for a long time, and then she switched when it was in her best interest. So I think maybe for the short term she could lie. I could see her making the merge, and from there, maybe making a deep run. But if she... Well, this might sound stupid, but if she doesn't make the merge, she's not winning. Well, duh. But I mean, it's like, if she can't make it past the early impressions, if she can make a good... Like, the thing, she doesn't know anyone other than Tony, right? So it all depends on the connections that she makes, which is really what anything comes down to this. I think that her game, when she won, it was more because of her strategic play, not because of her social relationships that she made. And I think that that's something that she's going to have to rely on, the strategic maneuvering. I think she has a decent chance to make it to the end and win, which would be so surprising to me that Sarah would be winner of two all-star seasons. Let's think about it this way. The people that have a chance to win two all-returning player seasons are Amber, Sarah, and Jeremy. Tyson won a half all-star. Sandra's already... I guess I'm Sandra. Yeah, because Sandra won Heroes vs. Villains. So Sandra could technically win another all-star season. But yeah, if she did that, I mean, we might have to look at Sarah's game a lot more closely and think maybe she could be one of the best. I mean, winning 1 All-Star season, I mean, Amber showed that anybody can do that. Winning 2, you got to consider that's the best. Next up, we got Ben Driebergen. Now, Ben is a little bit of a wild card for me because I don't know how the rest of the group is going to view him. On the one hand, Ben is a very loyal guy, keeping of his word. He's not necessarily a straightforward player. You know, he'll mix things up, but he's very loyal, very honest. So on the first hand, you might think, I think he could go very far. There's the problem, though. He has tied the record for most idols found in a single season. Yeah. Him and Tony are the biggest idol finders this season, and I don't know if anybody wants to risk him doing that again. You know, Ben, the first time nobody wanted to sit near the end with him. This time, people might not want to sit to the end with him, but they also might target him early because he's an idol finder. Idol finders, I think, are going to be, because who are you going to target? What's going to be the angle that you're going to target? You know, we barely have anybody who's played together except for Boston Rob's whole crew. Besides that, though, most of the other players are individual, and then we have also the fact that they're all winners, so it's like you can't target, well, we got to get out the winners. I mean, you could target those who've won twice, but that's just Sandra. So what is going to be the angle? And I think it could possibly be the idol finders. Who's going to be going out there looking for an idol that can screw up my game? Ben could get targeted by that. I like him and Jeremy together. That would be a good duo. I mean, Jeremy's also found idols before, but it's and his wife found like 20, didn't she? But I'm kidding. But in any case, I think that I don't see Ben being a first target, but I could see him going either out right after the merge or before the merge. I don't know. I think his target on him is going to be medium because I think he's a trustworthy, likable guy that you can trust for the short term. But I don't see how anybody wants to make a deep run with him. Next up, we got Wendell. Wendell is another guy I could really see winning this thing. 100%. Because I think Wendell's game was all because of his likability. It was all on his social game. I mean, Dominic, honestly, I was kind of rooting for Wendell after he did that amazing idol bluff move, you know? And then he got him. Then he bluffed his way for the first tribal council, and then won this. Used his immunity the next one, or did he win immunity? I can't remember. Anyway, he Dominic was the one that I think really it did all the master stroke in terms of strategy. But Wendell was way more liked by everybody else. I think that's why he won. So nobody I think is coming after him in terms of he's the biggest challenge beast, he's the biggest threat, he's the biggest immunity finder. He found one idol, but that's not necessarily the biggest thing to be worried about. He's very likable, and I don't think people are going to be as threatened by him as they should be. I think Wendell has a chance to lay low in the beginning and then come out with a splash near the end and just wreck everybody's games. Really, I do. And we already know that he has the ability to play with another big threat to go far in the game, as he did it with Dominic. So I think that some of these threats are going to be looking for Wendell as a partner. I think people are going to be looking to partner with Wendell, just like they're going to be looking to partner with Denise. I think those are going to be the most sought-after players for alliances. And I think he really has a shot to go all the way. Next, we got Nick Wilson, the last of survivors. Nick definitely, I think, earned his win in David versus Goliath. He was the best person up there. Mike did a good job, but I think Nick earned that win. His only move that he ever did that I ever thought was stupid was like, hey, I hit a fake immunity idol, then I show to everyone that I have a fake hidden immunity idol, but they think it's real, even though I do have a real idol. I'm like, you might as well have just told them you had an idol. That's basically what you did. You showed them you had an idol. And then you got Davey all worked up because he thought you now had 2 idols. That was the only move of his. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense, Nick. Use your brain. You basically just told them you have an immunity idol. But everything else Nick did was very good. He got both an idol and, I believe, the steal a vote. They had both of those. And then we had also on top of that, he was able to... Nick, I think what was an underreported story was how smart he was with strategic thinking. He was the one that split the votes between, between John and Angelina. Yeah, there was the first time, I believe, in Survivor history that they split, that the minority split a vote. And it was a great move. It was a really great move. I think he's able to pitch the numbers in his head and really work out. I think he sees the whole picture. Maybe that comes with him being a lawyer. He's able to see everything more clearly. But I think that Nick is a threat to win. And I don't think people are going to see him as a threat to win. Mostly because he's shorter, but also because he's more recent. And I don't think that people view the more recent ones as big as threats because they're not legends, Buster Rob, Sandra, Parvati, those are legends. This is Nick Wilson. He just played once. I mean, sure he won, but he just played once, where those are the big names. These are the legends. I think, sorry to say, I think the legends might get trounced. Really, I think that this is a new player's game. The legends might not be able to make it that far because they're too big. And I think the smaller, more controlled, more recent players are probably the ones that are going to walk away with this win. And I think Nick has a very good shot. I'm going to say he has a medium target on his back because he has found idols. He's shown himself to be a little manipulative, and he switched on his alliance. He totally turned back. Well, technically, Gabby turned on them first, but either way, I think Nick has a medium target, but I don't think anyone's going to be gunning for Nick. And I think Nick can work with here's my picture, a Nick, Adam, Wendell, Natalie, Jeremy alliance. That could all be a thing, and I think that could go very far in this game. So that is my cast assessment. Who do I think has the best chance of winning this game? The very best. All right, I'm going to choose one woman, one man who has the best chance of winning Survivor with all winners. For women, I got to go Kim Spradlin. I got to go with her because I think that while she should be one of the biggest targets, I think she's just going to be too good at calming people down to that. I don't think she's going to be one of the first ones out. I think she might be able to maneuver a big alliance to the end. I really do. I think that Kim is going to be my winner pick for women. For men, this is a lot harder. Because I think Ethan has a really good shot of getting to the end and winning, but I'm not sure if he will be able to bring the moves that the jury will respect enough to win. I think that Nick is very good, but I'm not sure if he's old enough that people will respect his game. He'll have to play really hard in order to do that. Boy, this is going to be a hard one. I'm going to say Jeremy. Yeah, I'm going to say Jeremy Collins because he is the player that everyone's going to want to align with. I think the people that people will trust the most is going to be Jeremy Collins, Denise, and oh crap, who else did I say? And Wendell. Those are going to be the people I think people are going to want to find and align with the most, and I think they will have the best stuff. So that's my predictions. That's my thing right there. Jeremy and Kim. Who knows how this season's going to turn out? I'm just excited that it is finally happening and that we can leave all the crap in season 39 behind us and move on. Thanks for watching, everybody. I am Lazy Dude, and this is going to be good.